時間ですね。おはようございます。
Condes is like our favorite place now.
Yeah, that's good. Well, oh, by the way, thank you so much for the shout out on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
What happened?
A couple of days ago. So on TikTok, I follow a lot of people in Japan, like Japanese people. And so one person was like a para dancer, and he was like eating his like dinner, and I just was like, "Nani taberu desu ka?"
Nice.
And he like replied, and like I was able to be like, and so like I could just kind of like low level, like low hanging fruit interact with people. But the other day it was Geiko that I've been following, and they're like, because they're very like private about sort of like what goes on, you know, behind the curtain. It was really cool to see like her live, and she's like so pretty and so nice, and like so I just was like, hi, I'm an American, and like I was like, shit, how do I explain that I've always really loved like what Geiko and Geisha do, and like it's just like such a beautiful art form. And so like it was like this weird garbled like Japanese English like fangirling moment, and she was so sweet, and she was like, thank you so much, and like so cute, and like it was like a very rewarding moment because I've always wanted to meet a Geiko. So yeah. So then I like shouted out Mateus. I was just like, thank you, Mateus Sensei. You gave me this opportunity to like do this thing. It's really amazing. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome that you're doing something with it, right? Because that's still that, you know, people who learn languages, it's so easy to make mistakes, right? And those mistakes, see them as mistakes. Ultimately, it's just learning experience. It's just a way of communicating, right? And like many people are held back by that fear. And it's really awesome that you go out of your way and try to make those conversations, right? And
yeah, I just gaijin smash my way through everything.
That works too. Yeah, well, that's awesome. Thank you. All righty, then let's continue. So on the topic of not too much geckos, but chapter 9 is called Kabuki, right? So while I actually haven't checked, so the nice thing about Genki, other textbooks that we hope to hopefully get to later, like Tobia, for example, which is intermediate, advanced level of Japanese, they have a lot more cultural notes and a lot more, I guess, interesting texts. But Genki also throws in some cultural notes once in a while. When I was in Japan, I actually wanted to go see a kabuki play, for lack of better term, in Kyoto, but that obviously did not happen. The stage was renovated at that time, and we didn't make it up into Kyoto after all. But next time, maybe.
We got really lucky. We ended up seeing a kabuki while we were there.
Yeah, awesome.
It was like interesting because like demographically it was like very much like not a whole lot of foreigners at all.
Yeah.
A lot of older people, and it's like very much like going to the opera here in the States, like a similar demographic.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we ended up watching sumo, right? And we've since then, like, we started watching it via NHK and various streams anyway, like before, but once you actually went and saw it live, we became a lot more invested. But then with COVID and everything, like afterwards, of course, we kind of stopped watching it because there were still essentially the rikishi, the sumo wrestlers, right? They like, I have my own opinions about athletics and this in a time of pandemic, but knowing what was going on and that people got sick, and just knowing how these people live. It was something that, okay, we really want to keep on watching, but we cannot support this, so we're gonna stop watching for a while until everything clears up. And it's also a total different energy because it was still the stadium, actually without without spectators, right? So it was, they made adjustments, but it was still very odd. This whole, I'm not saying we handled it right or they handled it right or wrong, right? But it's a complicated issue. And
Yeah.
oh yeah. Anyway, I'm getting excited for my second vaccine in 2 weeks now. So
Woohoo! Woohoo! Chikan desu.
hi, chicken des. Okay, so so we're gonna start with small test again for questions. You had a lot of homework to do. So
Yeah,
we
we did.
spent a significant amount of time on that today. We will be reading the 3 dialogues of Kabuki, and then we are diving into or diving more into short forms, just picking up the past tense, and that will essentially be it. There is going to be exercises, and the kanji section is very, very sparse today. Okay, so, but how do we say today is the 2nd of May?
Kyowa.
今日は5月日曜日
Mm. Oh, Nichiyogi desu, huh? Yeah, today is May and it's Sunday. But
hold on,
it's irregular.
Oh,
Because-
fuck.
Yeah, Jameson has it in a second, probably when he looks at, what is it, page 127?
180 something, I think.
Is it? No, it's one. I got it right here.
Oh yeah,
Oh wait, 180 something. You said?
no, I was wrong.
I think it's 127. But Kyo wa Gogatsu. And then
5月2日です。
Futsuka.
2日です。
Futsuka.
Hey, Futsuka desu na. Yeah, irregular. Irregular reading, of course. Dates. Hooray. Yeah, Kyo wa Gogatsu Futsuka desu. Okay, so here is the test for today. You can get ready. I'm last speak was very fast, but just in case, I'm going to put the timer on. I'm going to cut this at 5 minutes starting now. Oops, go man. I'm technologically challenged. ちょっと待ってな。はい。Okay. Wonderful. All right. What do you have for Ichiban?
FB.
B, Tenki. 明日の天気はどう? A is Genki, huh? Genki is a little bit different. Actually, Genki, if you look at the... No, that's right. I think I already discovered it last time. I wonder if it was the previous edition too, but Genki actually is not written in kanji on the textbook, but we know about it. But yeah, 明日の天気はどう? How is tomorrow's weather going to be, right? So B is correct. We know Genki, we know Tenki, and we know Denki, but the key is always written the same in those kanji, but the first one is different. And this one, right, 10, heaven.
Yeah.
Remember that? So yeah,
Yeah.
B. What about Niba?
I got A.
I put A too.
Yeah, Minai de kudasai. Correct.
That means don't look at me, right? Or don't look.
Yep. Please don't
So
look.
I misread the kanji, so I'm kind of lucky that I misread it. But then I double checked. I was like, oh, that's me. I thought it was member because member looks kind of similar.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. 見ないでください。はい。3番。
A.
I got.
I guessed.
I had to look it up. Originally, I had put D because I thought it was telling you to take the left exit. But then that didn't make sense. So I double checked and it's B because it's the south exit.
Okay. Yeah. So it is B, Minamiguchi, right? So it has the tenten. Higashiguchi is actually the east exit, right? So Higashi is east, Hidari is left.
Right.
Yeah. So very similar. And then Nanko, for example, are just the onyomi or onyomi readings of those kanji, right? So nan and kuchi is ko. But yeah, Minami Guchi by itself, right? We know the second one is Kuchi, but in Minami Guchi, Higashi Guchi, etc., the Kuchi gets the tenten, right? So that's why it's B, Minami Guchi. And then finally, Yonban.
I got D.
I put D too.
Yep, correct. You. San wa ku to iu, right? Yeah, the other one just don't make sense. The first one is like yo, which is, I guess, somewhat similar to what we can read it also as you, right? If we, but again, different here. Great, wonderful. All right, so before we go into, well, we're going into homework right now, so let's start with page 83, 1. So the first sentence, right? There, there it starts with watashi wa and ends with heta desu, right? So something you are bad at. Who would like to start?
I can go. Watashi wa kuroma wo onrau ga hetta desu.
So watashi wa kuruma o unten suru no, and then no ga heta desu, right? So we have the verb in the dictionary form, unten suru followed by no, followed by ga, and then we have the rest of the sentence, heta desu.
Okay.
Right. And James-san, what do you have for number 1?
I wrote watashi wa utau ga heta desu.
Also here, utau no ga heta desu, right?
Okay.
So we follow the dictionary form utau with no and then ga to make singing or to sing into singing.
Right. Okay.
Hi.
For number 3, I have watashi wa furui ni nairu no ga daisuki desu.
Furui? Furu ni hairu no ga daisuki desu ka?
Yeah.
はい。わかります。じゃあ、2番はどう？カティアさんは、
I put the same thing as James. So
okay.
sorry. For Niban, I literally had the same answer that I don't sing.
Okay. So you, okay. Yeah.
We have the same answer for number 2, which is why I gave number 3.
I don't know. I asked James-san also for his what he put as an answer for number 1, but number 1 and number 2 are contextually the same, right? So heta and amari, joso janai, they are almost the same. So that's where the confusion came.
Okay.
Okay, so for you, for Niban, you would have watashi wa utau no ga amari joso janai desu.
Yeah.
Okay. James-san, what do you have for number 2?
Watashi wa yori. Oh, I need to do this actually. It's yori no ga amari jozu janai desu.
So yori in itself is already a noun, right? So you can say yori o tsuku, like to make, or yori suru, both are fine, right? So yori o tsuku no ga amari jozu janai desu. And
So
then
you're saying, so you're saying I can do yori suru.
Or tsuku, both are fine.
Okay. And that's followed by ga.
Suru no or tsuku no, and then ga amari jozu janai desu. And then Katya-san told us that she loves taking a bath. So James-san, what do you have for number 3?
I wrote, 私は日本語の, oh wait, hold on. 日本語の話すのが大好きです.
So for here, because the action of speaking Japanese, right? It would be 日本語を話すのが大好きです.
So wait, so after hanasu, would I still add the no to make it a noun?
So this. So the only difference is the first no, right? So you had Nihongo no hanasu, but here we say Nihongo o hanasu no ga daisuki desu.
Okay.
And there are going to be other ways to combine or to say or speaking of Japanese where you would use no, but it's later.
Okay.
じゃあ4番、カティさん。
私は掃除するのが嫌いです。
私も。完璧です。じゃあ、ジェームさん。4番。
I read the same phrase. 掃除するのが嫌いです。
そうですか。わかります。はい。カティさん、5番。
私はスポーツする。スポーツ What the hell did I write? Sport? Yeah, no. スポーツをするのがあまり好きじゃないです。
はい、完璧です。Grammar-wise, I'm not making a comment on your preferences. James さん。
私は写真を撮るのがあんまり好きじゃないです。
Very good. Very good.
I corrected it on the fly based
on that's very good. That is very good. Okay, wonderful. So let's move on. So then we have on the same page, Roman numeral 2. Erica is very good at making friends. Katya-san?
I'm not super confident, but okay. エリカさんは友達をするの上手です。
Yeah, to make friends is a weird phrase, but we can say tomodachi o tsuku no, or for example, one potential solution is Erika-san wa tomodachi o yuujin no tsuku no ga jouzu desu.
Okay.
Or actually, it says very good, so can say tottemo jouzu desu, right? Yeah. So tomodachi o tsuku, to make friends.
友達を作る。
はい。友達を作るのがとっても上手です。or just 上手です。はい。じゃあ、2番、ジェームさん。Kenta loves reading books.
I wrote, Kenta-san は yomu no hon ga daisuki desu.
To read a book, what's to read a book?
It's I guess it's hon or yomu.
Hi. So the hon o yomu, right? So Kenta-san wa, and then hon o yomu
Ga.
no ga.
To make it down, yeah. Hon o yomu no ga daisuki desu.
Daisuki desu. Hi. Kenta-san wa hon o yomu no ga daisuki desu. Very good. じゃあ、3番、Kenta-san, Haruto hates cleaning the room.
ハルトさんは部屋を歌うのが嫌いにです。
Utao is to sing, right? So heya o or heya no. What did we have before for like the room numeral 1 answer 4, right? I think it was 4, yeah. Where we all were in agreement that we hate cleaning.
掃除する
はい。
Okay, so ハルトさんは部屋を掃除するのが嫌いにです。
嫌いです。はい。No ni at the end.
Oh,
嫌いです。はい。So yeah, there's a couple of ways how you can say that, right? But this one is perfect. Or you can also say 大嫌い. So Haruto-san wa heya o souji suru no ga dai kirai desu. James-san, do you have a different solution for number 3?
I wrote down Haruto-san wa kirai no heta ga. Wait, hold on. Kirei no heta ga kirai desu.
Doesn't work that well. So yeah, let's stick with this one.
Okay.
There's a different way to use the particles because technically it's soji osu, but Genki has you know, I guess tries to go a little bit more with the times, that it now often becomes soji su, right? But what we couldn't do is heya o soji osu. That's just weird, right? So here we could actually say heya no soji osu no ga kirai desu. So it's a little bit different, but based on how this vocabulary is introduced, let's just stick with this. Haruto-san wa heya o soji suru no ga dai kirai desu. Kirai desu. はい。じゃあ4番、James-san. Yui is not good at driving a car.
Yui-san wa kurama o uten suru no ga heta desu.
But it's not the nine-tailed fox, right? It's not kurama.
Damn it. What is it then?
Kuruma.
Kuruma. Oh, I totally wrote it wrong.
はい。Yui-san wa kuruma o unten suru no ga jouzu janai desu, right?
Yeah.
はい。And 5番、Katya-san. Yuki doesn't like doing laundry very much.
ユキさんは洗濯するのが好きじゃないです。
Yeah, very good. Right? Yuki-san wa sentaku suru no ga ammari. You can use that. Suki janai desu. Very good. Okay.
Like formal mode more.
そうですか? Okay. Page 84, we had just a little illustrations. So for Ichiban, we start with the question. 誰が新聞を読んでいますか? James-san.
Sato. Wait, hold on. What did I write?
Oh, hi.
Sato-san. Sato-san desu. I cheated.
大丈夫 Yeah, so you can just say Sato-san desu, right? Or you can say Sato-san ga shimbun o yonde imasu, right? So this exercise or this page deals with the subject particle ga, right? And then also, of course, nanikai nanimo. It's going to be more numeral 2. So the I guess while the answer is correct, it also asks to use a little bit the subject particle ga. Right?
Okay.
It works. It works. Okay. So for Niban, we have the answer, right? So which is Mori-san ga totte imasu. So what's the question, Katya-san?
I have 誰が写真をしていますか?
すみません。2番。
No? Is that not it?
森さんが撮っています。Right? So, yeah, who's taking... Oh, did I hear you wrong? I think I heard you wrong.
誰が写真をしていますか?
Hi. For some reason, I had still Shimbun in my head, right? So yes, so who's taking pictures? But for pictures, we instead of using sulu, we use shashin o and then to, right? So 誰が写真を撮っていますか? And then we have the answer, 森さんが撮っています。
Okay.
はい。ごめんな。3番、ジェームさん。誰がメガネをかけていますか?
I'm going to give you what I wrote and then I'm going to try it legit.
はい。
I wrote Yamada-san desu.
はい、山田さんです。
And then I think to do it legit, I'd say Yamada-san me ga kaken me ga me o kaken deimasu.
Yeah, so Yamada-san ga megane o kakete imasu, right? So let's not forget the...
Down real quick, because I'm saying Yamada-san, her eyes have glasses.
Why did I wrote wa? Gomen. I wrote wa. But this yeah ga. So the question is 誰がメガネをかけていますか? Right? So who, 誰
Yeah.
Is so メガネをかける is just a way to say to wear glasses, right? So there's so many ways to say to wear something based on where it is. So for glasses, it is Yamada-san who is wearing her glasses. Let me fix that real quick. Oops, wrong. 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. That took way longer than I wanted it to. So I was I'm switching between like different languages. Only keywords. Okay. There we go. So, ga. Yeah. Yamada-san ga megane o kakete imasu. There we go. はい。じゃあ、4番。かけさん。
誰が I'm sorry, I can't read my own handwriting for some reason. 誰が帽子をかぶっていますか？
帽子な。
帽子？
はい。誰が帽子をかけていますか？
Yeah, I see the my handwriting sucked. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I have two little lines there. It's just hard to read. Yeah, so 誰が帽子をかぶっていますか？
はい。One more sentence. 1 second. I did another mistake.
Oh no.
Why? Oh, that was the last one. Because like, はい。かぶっていますか？はい。Yeah, for cause kakete you really use for megane and earrings. I think neckties and stuff around your neck, but yeah, other than that, yeah, boshi for example would be of course kabu. Hey, okay. Moving on. Roman numeral 2. So we use nanika and nanimo. So did you eat anything this morning, James-san?
I struggled with all this, but I'm going to tell you what I wrote. Asa nanika tabe mashita ka?
Right. So instead of just saying asa, we can also say this morning, kesa, right? Nanika tabemashita ka? Right. That is correct. And then the answer, no, I did not eat anything this morning. Katya-san, no, I did not eat anything this morning.
いえ、私は何が食べてじゃないます。
ちょっと違いますね。So we can say いいえ, right? 今朝何も instead of 何が, right? Because 何も means nothing in sentences where you negate a statement. So 何も食べませんでした, right? So we just treat 食べる as usual. So we put 食べる to eat into the past negative. 食べませんでした.
Okay.
はい。じゃあ2番 the question. Katya-san, what will you do over the weekend?
週末何かするですか?
Yeah. 週末何かするですか? That works. It's not very informal though.
Really?
Yeah, right. Because we can. It would be better to use just a must form.
Okay.
Right. So we can just say shumatsu nani o shimasu ka? Like what will you do? Right. Nani o shimasu ka?
Okay.
Wait, can I tell you what I wrote?
Yeah, sure.
I wrote shimatsu nani o suru.
Nani o suru, yeah, which is informal. That works. Okay. And then to say I won't do anything, Jameson.
Nani mo desu.
Nani mo desu.
Nothing?
I mean, yeah, but okay, so yeah. Because you're asking for an action, right? You're asking for, so Katya-san, what do you have for I won't do anything?
何かするじゃないです。
Or you can just say 何もしません.
I see.
Yeah, I would go with this one, right? If you wanted to answer informal, Jameson, for example, right? You can say 何もしない, like I won't do anything.
But what's the difference between what I said and what you wrote there?
You said 何もです, right?
Yeah.
But here it's 何もしません, right? Because I guess you asking a question with a verb, like what will you do, right? And you can say 何も, right? But 何も works best with, especially if it's already like a nani question, right, with a verb. You would combine that in your answer also with verb, just negate that and use 何も there.
No, because my response has no verb in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi. And then, would you like to drink something? Let's do that.
I have 何か飲むですか?
何かものです. Okay. James さんはいません.
Okay. I wrote 何か飲みますか?
何か飲みますか? Yeah. So that comes closer. Here that was a while back. We can also use the negative non-past and add the question particle ka at the end to ask or to offer something, right? So 何か飲みませんか would probably be the most appropriate here, right? Would you like to drink something, right? So yeah, try remember that. That is one of the ways that we can say, or where we're offering something in a question. So 何か飲みませんか? Right?
Okay.
And then for Yonban, Kento asked something, but I did not understand. Katya-san?
This one was a total mood, so I hope I got it right. Kento-san wa nani ka kikimashita. Mo watashi wa nani mo wakarimasen deshita.
Okay. That sounds good.
Really?
It sounds good, yeah. James-san, what do you have?
This one I really struggled with. I wrote Kenta-san wa nani ka kikimashita mo watashi wa nani mo wakarimasen deshita.
Sounds good too. Okay, so we have Kento-san wa nani ka kikimashita ga. All right, remember this ga.
It's because we don't know what he said.
Yeah, but right, wakarimasen deshita. Right, so Kento-san wa nani ka kikimashita ga wakarimasen deshita. So very good. Hi. Okay, let's move on to page 85. Let's see. It's I'm not sure if I should ask this question. But here we go. 1番、Katya-san、日本語のクラスについてどう思いますか?
So I did my best. I wrote 私は日本語のクラスに daisuki desu. Because I thought it was asking me if I like Japanese class.
Yeah. So you can. So the instruction here answer the following question in Japanese using to omoimasu, right? So you can still use your same statements like could just say skida to omoimasu, like I think I like it. So the question here is Nihongo no kawasu ni tsuite concerning Japanese class. And then do, like how, do just means how, but do omoimasu ka means essentially what do you think about the Japanese class, right? So that's the question. And you can answer, I think it would be fine to answer that you like it, right? But what do you think about it? It's like, oh, I like it. But then, still using the grammar point of using to omoimasu. So for ski, you could say skida because you use the short form, right? Skida to omoimasu. I think I like it.
Skida. Skida to omoimasu.
And you use da because ski is a na-adjective, and for the short form of the non-past affirmative short form, when using na-adjectives or for na-adjectives and for nouns is da, right? So ski da to omoimasu. Right. James-san, 日本語のクラスについてどう思いますか? So still on number 1.
はい、好きですと思います。
好きだと思います。
Oh, I have to do informal?
It's a short form, right? So 好きだと思います. There are going to be instances where you can essentially have like a formal statement followed by the to particle and then another like 思います, another formal thing, but that really only appears in written Japanese and it's not as common. So 好きだと思います.
I'm so sorry. Can I go use the bathroom?
Of course.
I'm sorry. Go on.
Let me just pause the recording. 大丈夫. Okay. So はい。2番、日本語の先生は何をするのが好きですか?
マテヤ先生は柔術を好きです、と思います。
はい。はい。マテヤ先生は柔術をするのが好きだと思います。正解です。Correct. 正しいです。One day again. Hopefully. じゃあ、ジェームさん。
I wrote 私の先生は why did I do that? 私の先生は教えるが大好きと思います。
はい。先生は教えるのが大好きだと思います。
Hold on, I'll give that to me more time.
はい。先生は教えるのが大好きだと思います。
はいはい。
はい。
そうだ。
そうだよ。じゃあ3番、明日雨が降りますか、かけさん。
明日雨が降るかたくたないます。I had no idea what I was writing, to be honest.
そうですか。じゃあ、So, but I assume you wanted to say that you think tomorrow it won't rain tomorrow, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, ame ga fu, right? So we can say to turn a verb from its dictionary form into its past negative. We take the last syllable and turn that into the row, right? For Godan Doshi, right? Which this one is, so fu up, and then we attach nai to it.
Nai. To moimasu.
Exactly. Ashita ame ga furanai to omoimasu. Hey, James-san, do you have the same?
I cheated. I wrote ie to omoimasu.
Yeah, so that actually, it's not cheating because it doesn't even work.
Really?
Yeah, because you can't say, so ie to omoimasu. No, it's like an incomplete sentence, and chances are a Japanese person will not understand that. So yeah, ie ame ga furanai to omoimasu. はい。
はい。
じゃあ4番。あなたの友達は料理が上手ですか?
I have, はい、私の友達は料理家上手です。Sorry. My handwriting sucks. I don't know why. はい、私の友達は料理が上手です。
There's no doubt about that. So, Katya-sanの友達は料理が上手だと思います。Right? But you know your friend better than we do, so you can make this a statement. For the exercise, you can just say, はい、料理が上手だと思います。Right?
So do I always have to put dot at the end of it before I say と思います?
Because, はい、そうです。Because 上手 is a non-adjective, right? So the whole thing, or whatever you want to include in that embedded sentence, right? You can say watashi no tomodachi wa actually I would not even include the hai in here, but you could say watashi no tomodachi wa yori ga jouzu da to omoimasu. I think my friend is good at cooking. Hi, James-san?
I wrote, はい、カティアさんは料理が上手だと思います。
はい、完璧です。Wonderful. Okay. That yeah, let's look at Roman 2. Let's start with James-san. 何をするのが好きですか?
I wrote, 呪術が好きです。
呪術が好きです。Right? Or 呪術をするのが好きです。Right? Both work. I would say it would be actually more natural to just say jujutsu ga suki desu, but jujutsu o suru no ga suki desu works too, because you doing jujutsu is what you like, not jujutsu itself or watching jujutsu. It is, which might imply too, but there are some subtle differences. Right? Katya-san, 何をするのが好きですか?
私は花見をするのがSorry. 私は花見をするのが好きです。
花見。私も花見が好きです。いいですね。はい。2番、ジェームスさん。何をするのが下手ですか?
勉強するの が下手です。
そうですか。勉強するのが下手です。はい。いい文ですね。It's a good sentence. はい。カティアさん。
私は自転車を乗るのが下手です。
自転車。No takes need. So 自転車に乗るのが下手です。
Got it.
はい。
I did it right?
I
wasn't sure because originally I wrote suru and I was like, I don't think you do bicycling. I think you ride or like you drive bicycles. Okay.
はい。
So I like went back and fixed it.
はい。But yeah, Sulu is pretty universal. I think Chichancho, Sulu. Yeah, no, Chichancho ni no is correct, but I wouldn't be surprised if maybe already now Chichancho Sulu works. Or Saiku Sulu.
Right.
To
Well,
cycle.
yeah, because cycling is more of like an abstract, like cycling as a sport, as opposed to like, I'm just really not good at riding bicycles. Like specifically, I'm not good at that act.
Okay, got it.
Makes sense. Okay.
はい。ジェームさん、何をするのが嫌いですか？
I wrote きれいのが嫌いです. What I'm trying to say is cleaning, but I think I should use the other vocab for it.
Yeah. So 掃除する.
Right.
So you can use that
So
to
be
say
するのが嫌いです.
掃除するのが嫌いです。はい。じゃあ、カティさん、何をするのが嫌いですか？
Do you want to guess what I wrote?
掃除する。
I wrote 私は掃除するのが嫌いです。
はい。And then I think we don't even have to do number 4 then. 掃除するのが
Nobody likes cleaning.
いいえ、掃除するのが好きじゃないです。I assume something along those lines.
Yeah, I wrote いいえ、私は掃除するのが好きじゃないです。
はい。
That's pretty funny. Yeah, and when I wrote number 3 and then I got to number 4, I was like, yeah, I really don't like it for sure.
Yeah. It always seems like there's better things to do.
Yes.
Okay. That's almost done. So 86, listening comprehension, just let's compare A. So 1 is F, minaide kudasai, right? 2C, 3B, 4E, 5A, 6D, 7G. Now that the slides are corrected, I feel pretty confident those are right. And I heard a yay from Katya-san, so this is correct.
Wait, F, C, B, E, A, D, G. Okay.
Okay. And then let's do B. So, 1番、おばあとさんとケンさんはいつゲームをしますか？
I wrote, hi. ゲームをします。
そうですね。でも、いつジェームスさん
I wrote hi.
Okay. So, いつ is when, right?
Oh, itsu. Nishiyobi.
It's no, it's
日曜日です。
No, 4時半.
そうです。はい。日曜日の4時半にゲームをします。Wonderful.
Oh, okay.
My listening comprehension is not great because I had to listen to it over and over. I was like, this is hard.
I understood the listening part. It was reading this, and I didn't understand that it was asking me when. But the second you said that, I was like, oh yeah, I know what when.
4:30.
That's great. That's great. That time I was like, oh yeah, it was Sunday at 4:30. It's like, okay. Wonderful. That's great. OK、2番。たけしさんはゲームをしに来ますか？どうしてですか？
Takeshi-san cannot read my fucking handwriting. Takeshi-san wa amari o suru kara. So like he has work, so he can't.
アルバイトが合うの？はい。ジェームスさん。
I wrote, いえ、たけしさんはアルバイトがいた。What the hell?
と言った like he said.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I
Or
don't-
you don't?
I see that I wrote that, but I don't understand why I wrote that.
Yeah. 私もわかりません。So you can say いえ、来ません. So first of all, say no, he's not coming at all, right? Whether he comes to actually play or not, right? Nah, he won't come at all. アルバイトがありますか? Right? Because he has work. はい。3番、トムさんはゲームをしに来ますか？どうしてですか？カティさん。
Tomo-san wa isogashi kara.
うん。
So he can't. Well, it's no, he can't because he's busy.
はい、そうですね。はい、ジェームスさん。What did you
I
write?
don't really understand the statement, but I wrote down izogashi janai.
So English.
Oh, I see.
Also, isugashi is e adjective, right? To say he's not busy, isugashi kunai.
Kunai.
Right? So you can say, "Hai, ku to omoimasu." Yeah, I think he'll come.
Oh.
Right? Tomu-san wa nichiyoubi wa isugashi kunai desu ka? So because Tom-san is not busy on Sundays.
I remember now. Yeah, because I remember listening to the dialogue and they're like, what about Thomas? And then they're like, I think he can because, and then I like copied it verbatim.
Right. Okay. And then last one. So on weekends, Professor Honma plays tennis and watches sports. Right?
Yes.
Okay. So, and then Professor Honma.
But he does not go on dates.
He does not go on dates. No, he does not. But he also cooks sometimes and is
not a good cook.
But it's not a good cook. Right? Practice makes perfect. So they say. Professor Hanma's students are lively and interesting.
Yep.
Or funny. Who knows? Okay. And that's it. With the homework. It was a lot. It was a lot.
It's too much.
Yeah, well, we had to close the chapter. But I do agree. It was a lot. Was it too much? I don't know. This week's homework won't be a lot, but let's read our dialogues. So let's open up 210 page 210, Kabuki. So I haven't read in a while. I am gonna be Takeshi-san, who would like to be Meiri-san for dialogue 1. Hi. So Mary and Takeshi are talking. Meiri-san wa kabuki ga suki desu ka?
Kabuki desu ka? Ammari shirimasen. Demo Roberto-san wa omoshirokata to itte imashita.
Kabuki no chiketo o 2枚もらったから見に行きませんか?
Zebi,
Sehi.
Sehi,
Mhm.
itsu desu ka?
来週の木曜日です。12時から4時までです。はい。So there might be Mary-san going to Kabuki together with Takeshi. Wonderful. Okay, so let's do the two of you do dialogue 2. So we have Mary-san and Takeshi-san again.
Okay, I'll be Mary-san.
Okay.
綺麗でしたね。
出ている人はみんな男の人ですよ。
本当ですか？
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 ところでもう昼ご飯を食べましたか？
いえ、待てた、まだ食べていません。
じゃあ、買いに行きましょう。
Wonderful. Okay, and let's do the third one. James-san, if you can be Takeshi-san, and I'm gonna be Misuno Ito.
はい。すみません。お弁当を2つください。
はい。
それからお茶を1つとコーヒーを1つ。
Nice. 2800円です。どうもありがとうございました。はい。Wonderful. Okay, so what we saw here, we are going into the past and short form. What we saw here, for example, in the first dialogue, Mary-san is being asked if she likes kabuki, right? And she's like, kabuki? I don't know much about it. But then she proceeds saying, でも、おばあとさんは面白かったと言っていました。Right? So we have seen like something と思います。We have seen something と言っていました。Right? But so far we've only experienced it really, or we've really only learned it in the non-past, right? But then of course there's also short forms that we can use in the past tense in those compound sentences, but then also we discovered many of those things in Yotsuba already, right? So you can think of the continued use of the short form, just like we learned in over the past few weeks. It has many usages. It can be used on its own informally, right? But then also being part of embedded sentences like to itte imashita, etc., right? So that's why it's crucial to learn about that. And so let's actually open up page 214 and let's look at the table there, right? So the good news is that, so we'll cover both the past affirmative and the past negative today, and verbs, e-adjectives, non-adjectives, and nouns, right? So it's going to be quite a lot. But the good thing about it is that, for example, we essentially know more or less all of this already. So it's going to be a review in some sense, but the difficulty will arise and okay, well, where do I start, right? And there's different strategies. So if you look at the box for past affirmative verbs, we have tabe ta, all right? So tabe ta is the past affirmative, right? So we're looking at the box on page 214. And we can compare that with tabe te, right? So, and then the line below, we have yonda and yonde, right? So we can say, actually for verbs, right? We have the te form, and we just change the te to a ta, or in the case of, and the same goes for tentens. If there's essentially te with tenten, you have a ta with tenten. So essentially you have a de into da, right? So that's one way to look at it. The other way is, and this is why I wanna tell you how awesome Ichidan doshis are, because we have our dictionary form, right? We have taberu, right? So this is the stem, tabe, right? And then we have wu. And we know to conjugate the Ichidan doshi, we do something to that end, or we just have the stem and attach new stuff on it. And in the case for the past tense affirmative, it's also often described as the ta form. So we just say ta, right? And now we have tabata. Right? And this is the past tense short form, right? Which means ate, right? Because we have to eat, and we have then ate. And so te form to create the short forms for the past affirmative. Oh, I was breaking up there, right? Sorry about that. Okay. So to create the short form past affirmative, we can think of the te form and then just replace the te with ta, replace the de with da.
Okay.
Right. So in the case of, let's do golden doshi. Right, we have cow, right? Cow, unfortunately, with Godan Doshi, the te form of cow is katte, right? And then the short form past affirmative would be then katta. Right. So I guess it's a good strategy to think, since we learned the te form already and we're pretty proficient in that already, to go from the te form and just replace the te with the ta.
Oh, okay.
But then, as previously mentioned, Ichidan doshi are special, and you can think of the short past as a ta form and just work with the stem. Does that make sense?
Oh.
Yes. So
Okay.
far, so good.
Okay. So far, so good. For E adjectives, if you look again at the box, we have kawaii katta, right? Compare that with kawaii or kawaii katta desu, right? So we conjugate E adjectives just like usual, right? When we try to put it into the past tense formal, but here we drop the formality factor, which is just the des, right? Because E adjectives by itself just have the des afterwards. So kawaii katta becomes or stays kawaii katta, right? So for example, E, right, good. We know to conjugate it, we say yokatta desu, right? So for the short form past affirmative, we just say yokatta.
Okay.
Right? So we just drop the des, essentially.
So for like kawaii, it'd be kawakatta?
Kawaii katta, right? Because kawaii has two e's at the end, right? We drop the last e.
But if it
Yes.
was scary, it'd be kowa, which should be kowakatta.
Hai, kowakatta. Hai. Very good, right? So you can think of it in multiple ways. You can start with the dictionary form of the adjective and then just drop the final e and then attach katta. Or you can think of it as, well, you know, the past tense formal, right, with the des at the end, and just drop that, and then you have the short form. And then non-adjectives and nouns conjugate the same here, where we have Shizuka deshita, it was quiet, right? For example, or Genki, for example, Genki deshita, or Jozu deshita, right? It was good or skilled at, right? Or she was skilled at something. And we use the informal copular, and it's the past tense of the informal copular. So we have the informal copular. We know in the non-past it's da. For the past affirmative, it's datta. Right? And this also applies to nouns, right? We have, as an example, gakusei datta, was a student, right? Formal, it would be gakusei deshita. Yeah. So for the copulars, we know we have des, right? As formal, we have deshita, was, and then for just for the affirmative, we know the informal copular in the non-past affirmative is da, but now we introduce datta as the past affirmative informal copular.
Okay.
And then let's do, so that's the affirmative, right? So now let's also look at the negative. So we have again, and this is based on, okay, so here it's all based on nai. So let's just work with that right now.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so here it is, which one do we have? Yamanakata, right? Let's do, let's just do normal, right? So normal is the dictionary form. Oops, I need to change comment. So normal, right, to drink. And we know to turn this into the short form negative, right? You take the last syllable and turn this into its row equivalent. So this becomes ma, right? Ma. And then we attach nai to it. Right, so this is just to turn it into the negative, but this is still non-past, right?
Yeah.
We have normal and then noma nai. Now we work with this nai. We can think of the nai as a e adjective, right? So it's like e adjective. So that means that we know how to turn e adjectives into the past, right? Essentially what we do is we drop the e and we say katta. Right? So that means that this will become no mana katta. Right? And no mana katta is the short form, the past negative of normal. So we have normal, nomanai, nomanakatta. And this also works the same for ichidan doshi, right? So we have, for example, taberu, right? Taberu, right? Not to eat would be then tabenai, right? We drop the u, tabenai. To not eat, right? And then again, we change the nai, which we treat as an e adjective. So we have replaced the e with katta, right? Then we have nakatta, tabenakatta. Right? And the same is true for our irregular verbs, right? We have su, for example, right? We have su, and we know that su as an irregular verb, the negative is shinai. Right? And to turn this into the past tense, we do the same thing, right? So we have the nai. We replace the e again with katta. Right? And then we have shinakatta. And the same would be true for ku, which we know is konai, right? We have ku, that's konai. And this is just because it's irregular. And then again, we deal with the nai as an e adjective. So that would be konakatta. Okay. And since on the topic of e adjectives, so these are all verbs. We have kodan doshi, we have ichidan doshi, and then we have our irregular verbs, right? And this is all the past negative short form of verbs. And since we essentially treat all of this as e adjectives, let's actually look at E adjectives, right? And we can just take a look actually at the box, the textbook for that real quick, right? So for the E adjectives, we have kawaii kunakatta, right? And that comes from, again, kawaii kunai. So we replace the final E with katta, right? So we have the process of, okay, kawaii, turn this into the negative, we know kawaii kunai, and now we switch the tense from non-past into past by replacing the final E with katta. And this is how kawaii becomes kawaii kunakatta, right? The dictionary form kawaii turned it into the past negative. So you can think of this as a sequence of steps.
Okay.
And then for na adjectives and nouns, right, we can make use of janai again, right? So one of the many ways to say something is not. Okay.
Are we supposed to be looking at your whiteboard?
I'm cleaning that up right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna switch that back in a second. Thanks. Okay. Clean-ish. Okay. So we have, for example, tenki. Tenki doesn't make sense. There's always weather. Let's do gakusei. Right. So we have gakusei. Right. So we have gakusei. So for this, gakusei as a noun, but this would also apply to na adjectives, right? So we have something and we have janai, right? For formal, we just would attach a polite copula, right? Gakusei janai desu. Not a student, for example, right? Let's just make it simple. We already know the non-past short form, right? So gakusei janai, the negative, right? And again, treat this as an E adjective, right? So that means that we can turn this into replace the E, right, with katta. So we have nakatta, janakatta. Right, so gakusei, janakatta was not a student. Okay, so I think for what happens in the past negative really is that you end up with some form of nai, right? And comparing that to the non-past negative, right? You end something in nai, whether that be just nai for ichidan doshi, or something aro, aro, so aro, it's like kawa nai, right? Wa nai, yoma nai, ma nai, right? Or something E adjectives, something kunai, right? You still work with the nai at the end, explicitly or more specifically the final E, and turn that into katta to turn the non-past into past, right? So that would be a strategy to do that. Hey. わかりますか？まあまあです。じゃあ、ちょっと難しいですな。
本当難しいです。
Okay, so let's practice that a little bit. So let's look at 219 page 219. Right. So let's start with verbs. Change the following verbs into the past affirmative. Right. So our example, we have kaku, right? We know the te form of kaku, which is kaite, right? So based on what we've just looked at, we know that we can just replace the final te with ta, or yeah, the te with ta, a de, so te with tenten becomes a ta with tenten, so de becomes da. So kaku, kaita. For number one, hanasu, right? We know the te form is hanashite, right? Hanashite. So the past affirmative would be hanashita, correct. はい。どうぞ。2番、死ぬ。
Shinu would be shinde, so it'd be shinda.
はい。Correct. What about 飲む、James-san?
That one's a unique one. It's nonde, so nonda.
はい。
Kake.
Kakeru is kakete, so kakeda.
かけた。
Kaketa.
はい。はい。行く、James-san?
Iku. I think that one is. I think it's irregular, right? So it's like
Yeah, it's an exception. Yeah, 行って. So the past.
So that would be ita.
Correct. Very good. はい。遊ぶ。6番。
Is a sonde, so asoda.
遊んだ。Very good.
Sonda.
Very good. はい。作る。
Sukuru isukete. So suketa.
あ、作った。作った。
Sukuta.
ご担当し。Yeah, 作って、作った。はい、作った。では、カティさん。
Deru would be deta, which would turn into dete, which goes into deta.
出た。はい、一段同時出た。はい。9番、洗う。
Do you want to see my cheat sheet?
No.
Okay.
I feel like my instinct is telling me it wants to be arawate. I don't think that's right.
Yeah, that is not right. So, let me see if you have it. No, we don't have it. Wonderful. So, cow? Do you know the te form of cow? To buy? Cow?
Isn't it kawate?
You're mixing different concepts, right? Because what you're doing right now, you fixated on the u, and you bring the wa in, and we do the wa only for the negative, right? So right now, this is just a past affirmative. So the te form of cow is katte. Exactly. So the short past would be katta, right? So let's take another look at arau, which also ends with the u.
So it'll be arate, which we would then translate to awata.
Atta.
Arata.
Very good. Arata. Hey, Jiban, Kati-san, kuru. Let's say irregular.
Kuru is kite, so kita.
はい、聞いた。Very good. 11番、引く。
引く、引く。I don't know for sure. But I think it would be hite.
引いた。So the past, the short form, past.
Hite, and then that would turn into hita.
Hita. Very good. By the way, what does hiku mean?
I don't know.
Katya-san, do you know?
No, I don't. Hold on. Can I look it up before you?
You can look it up. So the vocabulary list, I was curious which one to use. So hiku here, it's to play a string instrument or piano, right? But hiku also means to pull.
To what?
So to pull.
Oh.
Right? But in this case, it's introduced as to play a string instrument, right? So a lot of, I guess, the Edo Jidai, the Edo period, right? There was a lot of cultural, I guess, not reform, improvements is very subjective, but a lot of things happened culturally, like in the arts, especially, right? So one of the instruments, for example, I haven't looked actually at this chapter in this edition in detail yet, but one of the instruments that are plucked is the koto, right? It's a string instrument, like most traditional string instruments. It doesn't have like any frets, and you would also say koto hiko, to play the koto. The play here means, again, you have one more verb to memorize, to play an instrument. However, you use hiku only for string instruments, which the piano, yes, it's both percussion and string, right? But you certainly use that with string instruments, where you would pull or pluck like a guitar.
Or the shamisen.
Exactly, shamisen, right? Also, probably, yeah, actually, because then you have, of course, string instruments that you don't pluck, but you use a bow, like a violin, right? But I think it's actually also use hiku. It's more like for the instruments themselves, even though if you don't like pulling or plucking to play a bow, a string instrument, you can say hiku. はい。じゃあ、12番、松、カティアさん。
Matsu is matte, so matta.
はい。Very good.
Jisanban, isoku. Is this one different because it ends in gu?
Yeah, so te, or sorry, de, you would use, you would change it to da, right? So we had, for example, nomu, right, which is non de, and then the past would be non da, right? So the tenten transfer over as well.
Isoku. I don't remember how to conjugate this one.
Similar to hiku, actually.
Hiku.
Only difference. So in hiku, you said he, te, right? So the ku essentially becomes e, and then te, and then to communicate into te form.
So iso de?
Isoide, right? Isoide.
Isoide and that would turn into isoida.
はい、そうです。Very good. 14番、もらう。
もらってもらいた。
もらった。small two. もらった。
もらった。
Just like cow becomes 買った。
なった。Right.
はい。踊る。What means 踊る? What does 踊る mean?
Isn't that one of the new ones?
Yeah, it should be.
と
踊る。踊る。
to take a walk.
To what?
Oh, nope. I'm thinking of something else.
The dance.
To dance, correct.
Yeah.
はい。じゃあ、ジェームスさん、踊る。
踊って、踊って、and then 踊った。
踊った。Very good. はい。And 16番、選択する。カティさん。
選択する is 選択して、so 選択した。
Very good. Very good. Yeah. Right. So there's obviously good and bad things about the strategy, right? So the extra step of putting stuff into the TAFE form and then changing it based on that, right? There's good and bad about it, but you know, I see the benefit of also revisiting the TAFE form. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And then I guess that extra step in your mind will fall away at some point. Anyway. Okay, so let's look at B, change the following verbs into the past negative. All right, so we have our verbs in dictionary form. And then kaku, right, comes kakanakatta. And why? Because kaku, the non-past negative is kakanai, right? Because we turn it into for Godan Doshi, again, we have the syllable change and attach nai. For Ichidan Doshi, we just drop the wu and attach nai, right? And then to turn it into from the non-past into the past, we just replace the final e of the nai, and we become the e changes to kata, so nai becomes nakata. Kaku, kakanakatta. For number one, miu, right? To see, we know it's a ichida and doshi. The non-past negative is minai, so that becomes then in the past negative minakatta. はい。じゃあ、2番、ジェームスさん、知ってる？
知ってる、so be 知ってない、知ってなかった。
Very good. はい。じゃあ3番、知る、カティさん。
So 知る would be しない。So しな。
すみません。知る。知るを知りますか？ So 知る is to get to know, right? That one is actually a Godan doshi.
So 知かった。知らないかった。
So it is 知ります, for example, or 知りません, right? To turn it into the short form, we change into the negative. We replace the wu with its equivalent. So 知
らない。
Right.
It's just 知らない。
So 知らない is the non-past negative. And to turn this now into the past negative, we need to essentially put the nai into the past. 知らなかった。
知らなかった。Okay.
So we come up with something nai, right? Whether that be Ichidan doshi or Godan doshi, you have nai at the end, right? From the dictionary form, we put it into the non-past negative, which means you have a nai at the end.
Okay.
right? And then that night, to turn the non-past into past, we replace the final E with katta. So something nai becomes something nakatta.
Okay.
じゃあ、
Verb.
はい。
Got it. Okay.
じゃあ4番、ジェームスさん、かける。
Kakeru would be kakenai, and then that turns into kake nakata.
はい、書けなかった。Very good. はい。じゃあ5番、吐く。
Haku hakanai.
吐かない。はい。And then to turn it into past.
Kanakata.
吐かなかった。Very good. 吐かなかった。じゃあ、6番、始まる。ジェームスさん。
Hachimaru turn into hachimanai, and then
Almost. Hachimaru is a golden doshi. Right? It's not hachimeru, which would be hachimenai, but hachimaru is a golden doshi. So hachimaranai.
manai.
Hachimaranai.
Oh, because you have to do the R column.
はい。
Hachiranai.
Hachimaranai.
Oh, hold on. Hachimaranai.
Hai.
I remember. Okay. Hachimaranai. And then you turn Hachimaranai to Hachimaranakata.
Very good. はい。7番、作る。かけさん。
Sorry, nanaban. Tsukuru. Okay, yeah, sorry. Tsukuranai.
うん。
Tsukurunakata.
作らなかった。作らなかった。はい。
Isn't that what I said? Tsukurunakata?
You forgot the ra.
Oh, tsukuranakata.
はい、作らなかった。はい、wonderful. Okay, let's move on to B, adjectives and nouns. So change the following into the past affirmative. So E adjective example, takai becomes takakatta, right? Again, replace the final E with katta. Genki na, right? Na adjectives, genki datta, just using the past affirmative copula. Same for nouns. We have gakse, becomes gakse datta. So yume becomes yume datta, right? Was famous. 2番, ame, there was rain. Jameson?
Wait, you said. You said you may not turns into you may dot.
Hey.
So ame past affirmative. Oh, okay, so this would just be ame datta, no?
Yep, ame datta. Very good. 3番, akai. Now we have the E adjective, and we need to do something with the final E.
Where's my notes? Aka na. No?
This is past affirmative, right? So here, akai, we just replace the final E with katta to turn the non-past into past.
I see. So akakata.
Akakatta, very good. はい。4番、かわいい。
Kawaii. Hold on. Kawaii dot.
E adjective.
Okay,
Right.
so
So the final E adjective, you will replace that.
Oh, kawaikatta.
Kawaikatta. Very good. Right.
Okay.
5番、短い。
短かった。
短かった. Very good. And then let's do one more here. 親切な.
親切だった。
はい、親切だった. Very good. Okay, let's turn the page. Let's do 220. Change the following into the past negative. Right, so we have takai becomes takakuna kata, and this happens again. We turn first the e adjective into its equivalent. So since we were working with the dictionary form, which is also the non-past, we turn the non-past affirmative first into non-past non-past negative, which is takakunai, right? And then to turn out the non-past into the past, we replace again the final e from takakunai into kata, and thus becomes takakuna kata. And for na adjectives and nouns, we just use janakatta. Right? So ichimeu na becomes ichimeu janakatta. Right? 2番、病気。James-san?
病気。
Would be
病気is-
yokai, right?
病気、病気じゃない。Because 病気 is a noun, 病気 is a sickness.
Oh, okay.
病気じゃなかった。
はい、病気じゃなかった。Very good. はい、3番、若い。young. カティさん。
若い。若ないかった。
若くなかった。
若くなかった。
はい。And 4番、かわいい。
かわくなかった。
かわいくなかった。Right? Because it has
くなかった。
かわいくなかった。くしゃみですよ。はい。Let's do one more. カティさん、長い。
長くなかった。
Very good. 長くなかった。Wonderful. Okay. Let me share my screen real quick again. Okay. Oops. Okay. So like I said, past and short forms, right? We also encounter this in formal speech, of course, like Fuka, Yotsuba no e kaite kureta, right? So Fuka drew a drawing of Yotsuba for her, right? We know that. Okay, so this is the only kanji for today. Sumu, right? To reside, dwell, live, inhabit. So onyomi reading is ju, and kunyomi reading is just su. So we use it for sumo or sundeiru, right? And it's pretty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 strokes, right? 1, 2, and we have a little king over here. Right, so this is soup, and then soup, right? Or for example,
Mateo-san?
hey,
you have a misspelling on this slide. Habit.
Inhabit. 大変。ありがとう。 Let me fix that.
90% of my like misspellings look like that. It's like I was typing so fast that I like backwards my like letters or something.
Can you read the onyomi reading for me?
Jew.
Jew, okay.
Jew. Like Jew show, for example.
So I noticed that the radical in here is a similar radical to iku.
Oh, okay. Yeah, similar. So the left part is actually, believe it or not, this is nin. This is a person.
Okay.
Right. And on the right side, you actually have a king.
Okay.
Plus that little top there.
Yeah, because we have it. It's in a bunch of places, right? Like to rest, nani, to serve. Okay, so that starts to make sense, actually. Thank you.
Yeah, and then of course, sunda, we know, right? To have resided, right? This is past affirmative, right? So, yeah.
Cool.
Wonderful. Okay, so let's go over homework really quick. Just gonna be 2 pages in the workbook. Well, 3, 87. Yeah, typical kind of like conjugation practice, also informal speech, the next page, and then on page 145, with just kanji practice of the this chapter's kanji that we already learned over the past few weeks. And then, yeah, if you can review vocabulary and dialogues of chapter 9. And that is it.
Wait,
Cool.
can you go back really quick to the homework slide?
Oh, hi. Come in. There we go.
Okay, page 145, and then next one to the textbook.
Oh, yeah. So chapter 9 vocabulary and dialogues. So essentially from 210 to 213, I recommend getting a little bit more familiar, or at least review the vocabulary before you dive into the dialogues. So that way, while you're reading it, you already know a little bit. Hi. Cool. That is that. Gonna stop the recording.